All right, and we're live with a very special Haute residence presentation today with a truly stellar panel. Tony, Edgardo, Raimundo, as we let our guests join us, I'd like to start with you, Tony. What's your biggest takeaway been from going through these past 6 months with all the changes, the pandemic, everything?
Well, the biggest takeaway from an economic point of view has been, of course, the COVID pandemic and the impact that has had on the economy. However, Florida has shown a lot of resiliency relative to other types of industries. Well, certainly the visitor industry has been down as a result of the COVID problems. So we do expect as soon as we have a deployment of the vaccine and an effective vaccine that things will turn around very quickly, since we're a major player in the visitor industry nationwide and globally.
Thank you, Tony. Edgardo, over to you.
I guess my biggest takeaway is that we can do things a different way and how adaptable we are under the circumstances. I mean, really, especially in our business, that is a very much of a contact and relation person to person, to be able to do business virtually and to be able to help and communicate with people this way that we're doing now is really remarkable. And it taught us that there are many things that can be done a different way. And of course, we're never going to lose the human relationships, but I really feel proud of the team and everybody that put a lot of effort into continuing the momentum that we have in South Florida without the ability to be in person to person.
Thank you, Edgardo. Raimundo, over to you.
Yeah, I agree with Edgardo. I mean, it's this whole COVID situation has been very challenging. It's we were forced to do things in a completely different way. I mean, sales, dealing with the residents. There was a lot of pressure with on the residential side of the real estate, and yeah, we were able to come up with new concepts, new ideas, and I think that's going to change a little bit the real estate and how the way you're going to design the future projects. Definitely, I mean, they're going to use it in a different way.
Thank you, Raimundo. We're going to go ahead and begin. Again, we're just really grateful and thankful to have each one of you here with us today. I'm April Donelson. I'm Senior Vice President of Haute Living. Today, we really have a great opportunity to officially welcome a Haute new residents to the family, Alta Developers, Quadro Miami Design District. As touched on a little bit here, just from each one of you, the global real estate market has truly held its own, despite the economic challenges that the pandemic has presented. It's been perhaps one of the most fortunate events. Clearly, there was and is an underlying demand for homes, especially in the luxury sector. People do want more space, a change in lifestyle. They want to be in warmer weather, especially with the looming winter and weeks ahead. I understand just last month, Quadro Miami Design District announced that it has sold more than 30 units in 30 days, which is quite the accomplishment. Looking forward to learning more about Quadro Miami Design District and finding out what Florida-bound buyers are seeking and why they're all flocking to this new and exciting community here in South Florida in the Miami Design District. Raimundo, we're going to begin with you. Raimundo Onetto, Principal and CEO of Alta Developers, a South Florida-based real estate development firm that's been involved in some of the most noteworthy additions to the South Florida real estate landscape, with current projects such as Eon Flagler Village, Pacifica Boynton Beach, Cuadro at the Miami Design District, Neo Vida Doral, Vesta at Neo Vida Doral, and past projects such as One Paraiso, La Park at Brickell, Quantum on the Bay, Metropolis at Dadeland, amongst others. These properties have truly led the way for future developments in areas and neighborhoods that they reside in, With advanced aesthetics and technology, Alta Developer develops with a commitment to environmental sustainability and cultural integrity, ensuring a confined stature as a landmark property in any given destination. Currently, Alta has developments emerging in neighborhoods throughout Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Boynton Beach, and beyond. Raimundo, thank you so much for being here with us today.
No, thank you for having me and for the invite.
Really looking forward to hearing all of your insight. Edgardo Defortuna, President, CEO, and founder of Fortune International Group, a Miami-based full-service real estate firm recognized throughout South Florida, Latin America, and Europe as a leader in high-end luxury real estate. He oversees all of the company's activities across all of its business units. Mr. Defortuna brings 30+ years of experience in the real estate industry and is considered a visionary and a driving force in South Florida real estate since its launch in 1983. Fortune International Group has been a preeminent leader in real estate sales, management, and development, successfully operating and building in South Florida's best neighborhoods, including Brickell Bay, Jade Beach, Jade Ocean, Burge Beach Residences and Spa, Fort Lauderdale, the Ritz-Carlton Sunny Isles Beach, and Jade Signature. Throughout Aventura, Sunny Isles Beach, Miami Beach, Coral Gables, Key Biscayne, and Brickell. Fortune International Group is well known around the world with a strong presence in Latin America. The company has also penetrated the European and Asian market at full speed, with a special focus on Spain, Britain, France, Turkey, and Russia. Through his company's success, Mr. Defortuna is widely recognized for having made a significant contribution to the internationalization of Miami and its reputation as a global business, trade, and vacation hub. Edgardo, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, April. I didn't know I had done so many things, but really, it's a great pleasure to be here, and thank you to Haute Living because you're always promoting Florida and Miami, and we're really very proud to have you here. Thanks.
Well, we're proud to have you here in South Florida. Thank you for all you've done and all you've contributed to our market. And last but not least, J. Antonio Villamil, Tony, founder and senior advisor of the Washington Economics Group, a Florida-based firm established in 1993. Tony is a nationally recognized economist with more than 35 years of a successful career as a business economist, university educator, and high-level policymaker for both federal and state governments. He formerly served as the founding dean of the School of Business of St. Thomas University until the time he returned as senior advisor to the company of which he founded, the Washington Economics Group, Inc. Tony is the immediate past chairman of the Governor's Council of Economic Advisors of Florida, and during 1999 to 2000, he was selected by Governor Bush as his first director for tourism, trade, and economic development. Previously, he was appointed by President George H.W. Bush as the U.S. Undersecretary of Commerce for Economic Affairs, receiving unanimous U.S. Senate confirmation. He frequently speaks to business, government, and university audiences on Florida's economy, U.S. trade policy, and economic development issues. Tony, thank you so much for being with us. It's truly an honor to have you here.
Well, it's a great pleasure to be here with you and Haute Living, and also Raimundo and also Edgardo, and the whole real estate specialists that we have on the panel. I'm playing the dismal science of economics role here, but I want to make sure that I emphasize the fact that the Florida real estate industry is really adapting to the COVID pandemic and the changes that are taking place. So I fully agree with Raimundo and with Cuadro and some of the comments they made at the beginning in terms of takeaways. The data does show a drop in overall visitors, etc. But real estate sales, and then you see the innovations that are taking place through Raimundo and Edgardo and other real estate specialists are taking place now in Miami and are taking place in Florida. So bottom line, I do think that we're doing relatively well to adapt to the pandemic.
Thank you, Tony. Before we begin the discussion, I would just like to address the audience. If you have any questions, please feel free to add them into the chat. We'll address them at the end of the session. We're going to begin with Raimundo. Raimundo, give us an overview of Quadro and what your vision was for the project coming into the Miami Design District.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm very proud of this project. This is one of the latest condo that we finished just last year, and it's very special for us. I mean, we spent like more than 2 years in designing the project, working with the architect Robert Behard, and we put together a design team. We hired a famous artist in Chile to bring all his ideas into the project. Like you see behind me, for example, that's one of the images of the main lobby of the project. So we create a whole new concept, like we always do or we try to do in all of our projects, bringing the art and connecting the Miami Design District, our great neighbor, with the project. So it came out really nice, and it's very impressive how it is working. Sales are doing great. It's a boutique 12-story building with great views to the bay. I mean, right next, walking distance to the design district. Miami Beach is right there. The airport, it's 5 minutes. So it's also a great location that you can have there. The other important thing it's a concept. At the end, what we're selling here is I think it's a new way of buying a condo in Miami in certain areas, and it's a concept of own, live, and share. So basically, you can buy a unit, and you can put it under a rental program or short-term program that we offer. So they can, for example, for Snowbirds, they can have a unit here in Miami. They can use it 6 months and go back and still make money. So that's a very unique concept here on an existing new project in Miami.
Thank you, Raimundo. And touching on Snowbirds, Tony, over to you. Snowbirds have been traveling to Florida, especially South Florida, for many years. Year after year, we continue to see growth in our population. So a two-part question over to you, Tony. Can you provide insight and historical facts regarding the snowbird phenomenon? How many seasonal snowbirds do you say that we get each year?
Yes, well, the snowbird phenomena has been going on for over 100 years, and it has increased over time. And those snowbirds now become part of the greater, what we call the visitor sector of Florida. You know, we get 127 million visitors a year in the state of Florida. A lot of them come to South Florida. That's not the snowbirds, of course, by myself, but a good percentage of that now are no longer seasonal. In other words, they have become sunbirds. They have come to the state and they have settled here. They may have buy real estate like they do all the time. So the bottom line is that the so-called snowbird phenomena has been part of the overall success of the visitor industry of the state. And the impact is throughout the whole state economy. Miami-Dade and South Florida in general has received a significant portion of those snowbirds who have now become sunbirds. So in other words, they're part-time residents of the state or full-time residents as they come in from Canada, especially, which has been a major snowbird flow type phenomena that has taken place. So bottom line is snowbirds impact the visitor industry, impact real estate, impact all the other industries of the state. And we have seen over time is that close to 100 million Canadians have come to South Florida. Many of them have settled here as a result of the so-called snowbird phenomenon.
Thank you, Tony. Raimundo, we're going to go back over to you, talking about Quadro. What do you feel is Quadro's most unique qualities? What has been the biggest draw to Quadro for these out-of-town buyers?
For the buyers, we have like two type of buyers. We've seen a lot of domestics buyers from like Tony was saying, from New York. It's been quite surprising that we've been receiving people. We, for example, we in other projects, maybe on the past month, we have like 50% of the people or 40% of the people that are renting units are from New York. And the concept there is that I think they're trying to like live the experience. So so they come here and say, you know what, I'm gonna try for 6 months, and they rent a unit. They come with the family, and hopefully after that they're gonna decide to definitely stay. So that type of buyer, domestic buyers are looking at Cuadro. And then of course we have all the foreign buyers that with Edgardo, we do a lot of specific campaigns to different countries. For example, today is Mexico is very strong, Chile is very strong, Argentina has always been a good market. We're adding Peru and Colombia. So those people, those countries are looking to keep their money safe, basically. But we're adding a little bit more to that. We're offering, like I said before, we're offering a product that they can own a piece of real estate, but they also can use it without paying, an enormous amount of expenses throughout the year. So that's I think is very unique.
What phase of Cuadro are you all in right now?
What phase?
Yes, what phase?
Today, in the project, we completed like I said, we completed the project last year, and we launched sales on the perfect timing, like 2 weeks before COVID.
Yeah.
So it was like it was amazing, because we did like we started with a soft campaign, and after 2 weeks we need to shut it down. Basically we closed all the projects were closed. No, all the sales office or the leasing office were completely shut down. And when Miami started like opening again, we will with Edgardo and the team to see if we can start like selling or going out to the market again. And we changed a little bit the strategy. Like we were more focused on foreign countries, like I said, but also starting the idea of reaching out to New York buyers, and I think it's been very successful. You said 30 units, and today I think we have like more 45. 45 is more than 25% of the entire project at this time.
Raimundo, speaking to a buyer's market, what would you want them to know specifically about Alta Developers?
Yeah, Alta Developers, yeah, you already described the company. I can't do it better than that.
If there's anything I missed, anything you
yeah, I can. I think that, I know Raimundo and Alta for a while now, and really they started, unlike many developers that come from foreign countries, they started by learning the market. They really got educated and participated in projects with other developers, investing and understanding what the buyer in South Florida was all about. And really they put the heart into it, and they build product for the lifestyle that the potential buyer really wants and desires. And Cuadro is a perfect example of it. They really came up with a great location, with the perfect size of units, with a price point that the market is very attracted to, and they really created a program that you can rent it on a short-term basis. So it's a perfect combination. But Alta really puts the attention to detail and the effort to try to satisfy what the market is looking for, and that's why it's a pleasure working with them.
Thank you, Edgardo.
It's true.
Thanks so much. Thank you so
I
much.
really believe that, honestly.
Thank you, Edgardo. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm an architect, or used to be an architect, but I really get involved in all the details, like Edgardo said. I mean, for me, it's the most important thing. I mean, learning how the end users are going to lead the spaces, the units, the projects. I mean, it's super important. You need to be responsible also with the neighborhoods, and because once you build something, it's going to stay forever, and it's going to be there for 40, 50, 100 years, right? So that's why we always take care of the design, how it's going to look, and how it's going to be an impact in different areas.
Beautiful. Thank you, Raimundo. Edgardo, going back over to you, talking about snowbirds here in South Florida, what impact have you seen them make here over the years, and what are you seeing now?
Well, Tony stated it very well. I mean, the impact on snowbirds has been present in South Florida for a very, very long time. But in the early days, they were here as a transient, basically. I mean, they spent a month, 2 months, 3 months, and depending on the location between Canada and New York, there were different waves of people coming to South Florida. But the real thing to note at this time is what's happening now, and what has been happening for the last 2 or 3 years since the tax reform of 2018. We've seen an incredible amount of desire and motivation for Northeasterners to move to South Florida. Not only Northeasterners, but even states like California and high tax states are moving to South Florida. But really the effect that created was very, very significant, with major players moving to South Florida, not only for the fact of the climate, but also for the lifestyle. I really believe that when people really experience what it is to live here, they really fall in love with it. And even now, COVID has taught us that we can work remotely, and we can live here and really have our activity in New York or wherever it is your principal place of business is. And obviously communication and traveling when COVID goes away, it's very, very easy and very convenient. So the accessibility to airports, the ability to mobilize, really makes the snowbird really take this as almost the primary residence for tax purpose or otherwise, because they really embrace South Florida. I was yesterday with Bernardo Forbrescia from Arquitectonica designing our next project in Sunny Isles, but he was commenting that today he's working with 3 major players in the financial industry. That one is working on 400,000 square feet of space. The other one is working on 250,000 square feet of space, and the other one is over 100,000 square feet of space. All of them are moving significant operations here, and he's designing his offices. And they started, some of them started looking in Palm Beach or Boca Raton, but then figure out that the talent that they need to attract doesn't want to live in Palm Beach. They want to live in an exciting place like Miami. So really they started focusing on here, and now they're designing and moving offices here. This is it's part of the effect of the snowbird, but it's part of the effect that South Florida is positioned to be one of the best places in the world, and we're lucky to be here, and we're lucky to be in the real estate business.
Very well said. Thank you, Edgardo.
Thank you.
Tony, over to you. How much of a boost do seasonal residents give the South Florida economy? Do they tend to purchase or retire here, or just escape the cold climate?
Yes, I think the Edgardo summed it up very well. That and also Raimundo, in terms of snowbirds or the overall foreign market here. has become more and more of an established market. In other words, the seasonality that we saw over the decades, where you had a lot of winter activity with snowbirds coming in from Canada, coming in from the northern states, has changed completely. Now we have Latin America, we have especially Brazil and other countries, we have the rest of Europe coming here to purchase real estate in various components. So that the bottom line is that we have seen over the last decade really is that structural change towards more inflow of foreign buyers coming in and purchasing real estate, and the real estate industry here has adapted to those changes. So I think the flexibility of the real estate industry here is also a critical component long term. I don't know if I answered your question, but that's the bottom line. The bottom line is that in spite of COVID, in spite of the decline that we have seen in terms of the number of visitors, the quality and the depth of those visitors in terms of their ability to stay here in South Florida has increased significantly.
So looking ahead this season, do you see more snowbirds flocking to South Florida?
Once we, in terms of numbers, yes, of course, this is a yearly phenomena. We have seen a downturn because of the COVID concerns, but that's just a short-term external factor that has impacted the marketplace. But at the same time, we also get a lot of other types of visitors from all over the world. Although the numbers show a decline overall in visitors to South Florida, the impact has been ameliorated by the fact that the quality of those visitors relative to purchasing real estate, purchasing businesses, and staying here has increased significantly. So we do see that once the vaccine is deployed effectively, we'll be able to see a significant pickup in economic activity through snowbirds and other types of visitors, as it has become a fundamental factor that this is a key area, the state of Florida and also South Florida, key place to invest, especially in real estate, but also other types of business.
Thank you, Tony. Edgardo, a longstanding force in South Florida real estate and development here. What do you think the most attractive quality, we've talked about a lot of different things, of Cuadro is to seasonal Florida residents?
Well, it has plenty of attributes, but I think that if I can pick a couple of them, obviously the location is something very, very significant because it's in one block away from one of the most vibrant places in Miami today, which is the Design District. I mean, everything is happening there today. But in addition to that, the ability to use it when you're here and to generate some revenue when you're not, vis-a-vis short-term rentals or mid-term rentals, is really very appealing to the person that is not going to use the unit on a full-time basis. So and the flexibility of being able to, if you have additional family, to get an additional unit or to rent an additional unit when people are here, when your family is here, really makes it very, very attractive. But I can go on. Obviously, the views are spectacular. The public spaces, the pool level and areas that really satisfy all their needs from when they come to South Florida are really a combination of things, as I was saying, that Raimundo put together is really very, very appealing to that type of buyer.
This is to you and to Raimundo. In general, sales activity for condos are increasing in South Florida. What does that say about the real estate market amid COVID to each of you?
With the whole the COVID situation, it's been tough. I mean, sales it's been hard to sell projects like Cuadro, and there's a reason. There's a reason behind, because Cuadro basically is a project that is completed. It's new, but it's finished. It's done. You can move in tomorrow. So when you have people, not domestic buyers, and we have people like foreign or people from north, they love the project, but they want to come, and that's one thing that hopefully it's going to change sooner than later, with the vaccines, like what Tony is saying, and maybe with, yeah, and also with the restrictions that we have now. I mean, people coming from New York to Miami, then when they go back, they have to quarantine, so they're not coming, right? So they love the project, they want to purchase, but they want to see it because it's ready. Okay, it's done. The concept is great, and that's why it's been so successful. Like Edgardo was saying, the flexible, and we also offer, I mean, all the solutions, because when you're foreign, and there's a lot of concerns. How am I going to buy it? Who's going to help me? How is the accounting? I mean, there's a lot of questions that the foreign they have, and so we offer the entire package with all the solutions. We offer through our parent company, Normal Residence, also the long-term program for rentals, the short-term program, the turnkey packages for furniture. I mean, everything, single detail is there, and you can get it.
Yeah, but I agree with Raimundo. I mean, the beauty of the product today is that it's finished. The difficulty of selling it is that it's finished. When we're selling the pre-construction, basically I can show you a rendering virtually, and it's pretty much the same as if I show it to you personally. But when the product that is moving today, not only in Cuadro but in general, it's product that is ready, that people want to use it and take advantage of the lifestyle here. But when you're not able to come and see it and touch it, it's more difficult to make a decision. So that's what we're facing. I mean, we have a lot of leads, a lot of interest, but until we get the momentum of people being able to visit it and really feel it and experience it on a personal basis, it's more difficult to make deals.
So with the restrictions in place for, overseas buyers, the New York market in many cases, do you see the trend of virtual purchasing in real estate continuing on past this when we move through?
Well, it's doing the research and narrowing your choices. It's much easier today than it used to be. I mean, you can really experience almost the entire, regardless of the fact that it's ready or not, you can really experience a project virtually today. But to really pull the trigger and to depending on, obviously, on the motivation, if it's just a pure investment and you have to allocate capital to real estate, maybe you do a transaction virtually. But I definitely believe that the real estate is still a very person-to-person type of relationship, and the transactions are going to happen when you can see it. If it's a project that is not ready, you want to see the lot, or you want to see the building going up, and if it's ready, you want to see the details, and you want to see the interior design and the art. So it's still something that you have to visit, and most likely, and most people really need to see and feel and touch before they commit fully to the purchasing.
Are you all having buyers here locally that are concerned with COVID and they're avoiding sales galleries altogether, even though they're here, they're in the market?
We don't see that. I mean, really, the sales centers, when people are here, are very active.
Super active.
Yeah, we take all the precautions, and we're really very careful about making sure that we separate families, and that we take elevators on individual basis and stuff like that. But once they're here, it's a different game. I mean, they really are active and participating in looking at products.
Yeah, but what Edgardo was saying, we also have buyers that are looking for investments, and in Cuadro we've seen a lot, because, for example, right now we have like 65 units already occupied in the building with long-term leases, and those leases are, I think, are one of the highest leases per square feet that we have in the area in Miami, more than $3. So they're very happy to close on a unit and next day start earning money. That type of buyers we have in Cuadro, but for that type of units, they not necessarily need to come. So it's a combination. When you have a buyer that wants to invest and also use it, they rather wait or to make the decision, the final decision.
Thank you, Raimundo. Tony, over to you from a data perspective. Are people starting to fly again?
Yes, we see that in the passenger deployments in Miami International Airport, for example, that people are starting to fly again, but very cautiously. I mean, compared to the pre-COVID times, we haven't seen a strong recovery, but we're starting to level off. So from that point of view, we do see more visitors that will be coming in 2021 to the state of Florida, and especially to the South Florida area. One of the important things that we have is that we also are now at a center, a global center for visitors. So it's not only Canadians, it's also South Americans, Central Americans, but also Asians and Europeans. So that tends to create kind of a cushion, if you will, in terms of the downturn. So yes, we see a very cautious recovery taking place in the visitor industry, in passenger deployments and passenger arrivals and all the other things that tells us that things are beginning to level off. But again, I find that this is a very uncertain period. So what Edgardo and Raimundo are doing in terms of flexibility, in terms of being able to reach buyers virtually, I think has become so important. But we do see a slow recovery taking place.
Tony, touching on that, what do you feel like airports and airlines can do to further encourage return to travel? Rapid COVID test?
Well, right. I think the 100-pound gorilla in the room will be a COVID vaccine, obviously, as we know, and the deployment of that through Operation Warp Speed, as they call it here in the United States, that will ameliorate the issues. COVID vaccine may be the real solution to the problem. COVID testing, may be a little bit cumbersome. I was recently in Washington, D.C., and when I saw this, a significant amount of travel taking place, the plane to South Florida to Miami was full from Washington, D.C. So what you see is that, again, things are starting to recover. We do see a spike in COVID positives, unfortunately, as the press reports it. So it's a kind of like a staircase, up and down, up and down, up and down. Certainly airports can help a lot in terms of, all the protocols to stay safe, cleaning the planes properly, making sure that people feel comfortable in the airport lounges. All of that is important. COVID test may be a factor that could come in, but hopefully we don't have to do that. Hopefully we will be able to resolve this problem in the next 12 months.
Thank you, Tony. With a new administration pending to go into place for national leadership here in the United States, what's your economic outlook for Florida and Florida's economy, the real estate industry here as a whole?
I do find that the most important thing for Florida real estate and South Florida real estate, obviously, is two things. So a number of important things. One is really Federal Reserve policy, which is independent of the executive branch. And there we do see the continuation of relatively easy monetary policy. Low interest rates are a key factor. The ability to innovate in the financial markets. Our financial industry is healthy in that sense. They're open for business. So that all that is critical to real estate. To also the overall economy as we see it. The economic activity continues to grow at a moderate pace. The new administration is, when it comes in, is emphasizing a COVID task force and scientists to be able to help and accelerate the COVID vaccine and the COVID testing. I think that's important too. So overall, I don't see in the short term, at least, a lot of major changes taking place because the economy already is taking care of that through innovation in its various industries and flexibility of entrepreneurs. And the real estate market is a key example of that here in South Florida. So my soundings are that this administration will make changes relative to an increase in support for training the labor force, et cetera, et cetera. But overall, bottom line, I think federal policies that we need to emphasize monetary policy, and that continues to support the real estate industry.
Thank you, Tony. Raimundo, over at Quadro, you all have sold 30 units in 30 days. Who have the buyers been in terms of industry, profession? Where are they coming from specifically? And are you seeing if they plan to be a permanent resident, a vacationer, et cetera, et cetera? What are you seeing?
We've seen like a mix. We've seen people moving into Miami, looking for a permanent resident with that flexibility that we have in the project. But also we've seen a lot of foreign buyers that would love to have, and they've been dreaming to have a unit in Miami that they can use it 2-3 times a year, and the rest of the time just put it on a short-term program that they can make money to pay the expenses. So I think that's a unique thing on Cuadro. That's the unique of the type of product that we're offering. And so you have the investors on one side, and I've been seeing a lot of young professionals, and I think that's because of COVID, and that's because of the change in their minds that we've seen a lot of people working in the pool. It's pretty amazing. So when you see people like people with a laptop, I mean, on the launcher, I mean, working half a day from the pool with this, I mean, magnificent weather, I mean, that's going to change their lives. So that's going to happen. And it is happening.
When you developed the concept of own, live, share at Quadro, what were the key factors behind that?
The own, live, share, it was about resolving, and because obviously I'm come from Chile, and you always have friends that they wanna, like I said, buy something here in Miami, buy a piece of real estate, but they sometimes they can't afford paying maybe $30,000-$40,000 in expenses, or rent the unit out for a year so they can use it. So it didn't make any sense. The short-term concept, it's pretty new here in Miami. I mean, there's not enough in city of Miami. I'm not talking about Miami Beach. In city of Miami, there's a few projects that allow the short-term use. So I think that's definitely going to be a new trend, because the code in city of Miami was changed like a year and a half, so it's pretty new. So that's why we designed the project, and that's another thing. Cuadro, we designed a project thinking on the short term component, from the front desk, from the HOA, from the maintenance of and everything. It's around the short term program, so we don't have any issues. So I think that's been one of the keys in the project.
Thank you, Raimundo. Tony, over to you with our snowbird visitors. From a data perspective, what do you find that they typically spend on while they're here? What industries here in South Florida are benefiting the most?
Well, the main industry, of course, is the visitor sector, which is composed of a number of industries. I do see significant benefit in real estate sales, and we have seen in entrepreneurs like Raimundo and Edgardo being able to provide the flexibility and adapt to the changes that are taking place. So certainly, real estate is one. The whole travel and hospitality industry, hotels and temporary residence facilities. We also significant impact on retail sales. So overall, it's widespread throughout the economy. But I think what I've learned through the experts on the panel on the real estate side is that there is a lot of flexibility going on, and the ability to be able to purchase real estate has increased significantly because of that flexibility and ability to adapt to the changes. So I see a number of industries, like I mentioned, travel and hospitality, the hotel industry, restaurants, retail sales, and of course the real estate industry being critical. And we see that in the sales numbers.
So discussing a vaccine, the release of a vaccine, what are the first sectors that you see rebounding at the greatest speed?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. With all the talk on a vaccine coming
Right.
out,
Right.
what are the first sectors that you see recovering here in South Florida?
I think there's a lot of pent-up demand for the state of Florida.
Yep.
And for all these other industries talking about. Some people have postponed travel. We see in the numbers that are lower than they were in 19 and in 18. So that pent-up demand of testing of the vaccine and being able to provide a relief to the COVID pandemic would be critical relative to all these other industries. So we would see a big increase in economic activity. I'm looking forward to a significant pickup in the slope curve towards higher growth rates in these various industries that we mentioned. Does that answer your question? Is that?
Yep. Very well. Thank you, Tony. Edgardo, we know that markets do not like uncertainty with all that's transpired with the presidential election. How do you think that will affect the real estate market?
Yeah, sure. You were 100% right. I mean, we saw the last month before the election that people really were not making a decision. We're waiting to see what the election would be, and you could see it in almost any sector, including the stock market. But now, with certainty, things go back to normal to a certain extent, even though, of course, the COVID-19 situation needs to be resolved. But really, markets don't like uncertainty, and that also goes directly into the real estate market. I see us positioned very, very well to capture the influx that Tony was talking about once we get the vaccine. People are itching to start traveling. I mean, they're really can't wait for. I mean, we saw this happening in places in Aspen, in Colorado, or in Vail when during the summer that there was be able to be outdoors and people doing outdoors activities that was packed there, and people are really desperate to be able to start vacationing again, and I think that South Florida is perfectly positioned to handle that and to benefit from that. The reality is we all see that outdoor activities and doing things outdoors, it's much better for the potential of contagions in COVID. So and now that it's getting colder in other places, I think that the people are naturally going to be able to wanting to come here and spend more and more time here. And we saw that early on during the pandemic in March, that people came for escaping New York, and then they end up staying and renting houses or buying houses, and they are still here. So I see that phenomenon repeating itself now during the winter months, because there is no better place than here, that's for sure.
Thank you, Edgardo. Edgardo and Raimundo, is any final thoughts you'd like to share with the audience? I know that we understand here Cuadro will now have a presence in the New York City market. Any news you'd like to share?
Oh yeah, that's a very good news. A very recent. We got approved the project in New York, so we can start selling directly there. So we're working on a full campaign uh, to promote the project over there. So I think that's going to be very good for sales.
Thank you.
Yeah, and locally, like we were saying, the building is really great, and it's the key component is to be able to experience it. So as soon as things get back to normal, we are organizing events in the pool deck and the party rooms and the entertainment areas, because it really to fully appreciate what Cuadro is, you really have to see it. And the unit layouts are great. We have a great number of models that people can choose from. So everything is there for the taking. So being able to experience it is a key component, as we were saying before. So we're planning both for the broker community and the potential buyers to do events as soon as physically possible.
Thank you, Edgardo. Tony, any final thoughts you'd like to share?
No, I think I've learned a lot from Edgardo and Raimundo relative to Quadro and the real estate industry in general, in terms of how they are adapting to the changes that are taking place. I think the South Florida economy, especially Miami-Dade, is very well positioned for an increase in overall real estate sales, overall economic activity, even more than we have seen as a result of entrepreneurship, as a result of flexibility. Once you have the deployment of the vaccine, and we're beginning to see a taper down of vaccine of the COVID cases, I think we're going to see a big pickup in overall activity in the real estate market, even more than we have seen at this time.
Thank you, Tony. We're going to take a look at a few audience questions that came in while we were speaking, beginning with, what are the price points for both developers' projects? And how can brokers in Chicago and the Midwest work together with these developers? Raimundo, we'll start with you and over to Edgardo following.
Price points on Cuadro?
Correct.
Yeah, we have and the average per square foot it's around $550 per square foot, and it's a very reasonable price for the product you're getting. We have studios, I think, starting from the 350s and up to 2 bedrooms. I mean, close to $690,000 or $700,000. So on the average, I would say it's $450,000 for a 1 bedroom. It's very reasonable, and I think based on the returns that you can get and the rents that we're getting there, I mean, I think it's a great decision.
Thank you, Raimundo. Edgardo, over to you. How can brokers in Chicago and in the Midwest work together with each of you?
Well, we will be happy to. We have a team of people that dedicate themselves to the broker liaisons in the Northeast. I mean, so if they can send me an email, I'm be very happy to put them together with Lauren Dunn, that manages all the Northeast operations for us, and she can coordinate and provide the information. Obviously, the sales team at Cuadro is fully dedicated only to sell this project, so definitely they can reach directly to the sales director or the sales team at Cuadro at the website. But if they want more information in general about the overall market, we will be happy to. We in Fortune established a great number of relationships, not only in the US, but all over the world, with brokers that really feed us customers, and we protect them, and we treat them as if they were our customers. I mean, without forgetting about the broker that refer them to us. So we're happy to manage that. They can come, or they can just send us the customer, and we will protect them and take excellent care and very professional care of that customer.
Thank you,
More than
Edgardo.
welcome. More than welcome.
Yes.
Back over to sizes of the residences. What are the sizes of the rental units?
It's
Raimundo.
On the studios, we have 500 square feet. One bedrooms are, we have two sizes from 750 to 850, around that. And on the two bedrooms, we have, it's around 1,100 square feet.
Thank you, Raimundo. An inquiry from a broker in Chicago. How can we get a building like this building in Chicago? Can we work together?
Of course. Give me a call.
Let's go through contact info. Raimundo, what would the easiest way for someone to get in touch with you be?
You can go into the webpage, but you can then send me an email to Ronetto, Onetto @altadevelopers.com.
Okay, perfect. Edgardo?
That's the easiest way.
Yeah, certainly to the Fortune website, or Defortuna at fortuneintl.group.com.
Thank you. Tony, how about you?
Well, the best way to get in touch with me is via email, Villamil, VILLAMIL, altogether, @weg.com.
Perfect. Well, on behalf of Haute Living, Haute Residents, it was truly an honor and a real pleasure to have each one of you here with us today. Tremendous insight, great leaders. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, April. Thank you so much.
Thank you, April. It was great. And thank you, Tony and Raimundo. Great
Yeah,
job.
thank you, Tony.
Same here. Thank you very much.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Okay,
Looking
bye.
forward to seeing you all very soon.
Take
See you
care.
soon.